Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. Today I get to try something that is brand new to me, so I've never had anything from J. Mattingly. So this is a company that their specialty is really about giving the taster agency, right? So they want you to be able to customize your own blend, your own bottle, and enjoy it. You can do this through their website. They do like a double stave process where basically what they're doing is they're acquiring barrels from MGP. And their master blenders bring these barrels to their warehouses, and then they're doing like a double staving process for more oak contact. And then they're giving you agency where you can go to their website. You can select different barrels, make your own blend, make your own custom bottle if you wanted to give it to somebody as a gift or just do it for yourself. Who cares? Let me pour this, let it open up. But then they also will allow groups to come in. I think it's less than $200. It's like $170. You can bring a group in. You get to crack open some barrels, taste right out of the barrels, and then create your own bottle, your own blend from these barrels that you've tasted, and then they send that bottle home with you. So for less than $200, you can do that. That's pretty cool. Otherwise, I think all their bottles are like $120. And you get to name it whatever you want to name it. So it allows you to practice your own skills of being a blender. Well, this one's a little different. So this bottle is called the Bottle of Totality from J. Mattingly. It's 118 proof, and this is one that their own blenders came up with. So they did this one on their own just to show off their own blending prowess. And it's called the Bottle of Totality because I don't know if you remember earlier this year, we had an eclipse. And they were in the path of totality, so they made this bottle. They made 18 of them, I think. Or was it 18 bottles? Yeah, so very, very limited number of these bottles that ever made it out there. So big shout out to Matt, appropriately, he's not from J. Mattingly, but, you know, he got one of these bottles, and his name is Matt. Just a coincidence, that's all. Big shout out to one of our Patreon supporters, Matt, for sending in a sample of his bottle. I appreciate it. Let's try it. We'll see if this juice is any good. We'll see if J. Mattingly knows what they're doing. So if ever you're in the neighborhood down there in Kentucky, if you and a group want to make your own bottle, your own blend, maybe this will be something you'll be interested in trying out. But like I said, you can always just go to their website and make your own bottle from there and have it shipped to you. That's an option as well. Let's get in here on the nose, shall we? Well, I suppose first things first, let's talk about color. It's 118 proof, so it's not light in the proof department, but it's got a great color to it. Oh, very walnutty color. Love that. And in terms of oiliness, it is leaving a very nice thick coating on the edge of the glass here, which I do appreciate. First thing that comes to mind is like toasted bar nuts, almonds and peanuts. They're a little dusty. They got that roasted saltiness to them. Actually, the more I nose it, the more I think of actually macadamia nuts. And there's a sweet, savory note here that makes me think of like, you know, a fresh baked cookie. So I'm going to say on the nose, white chocolate macadamia nut cookie comes to mind. But there's also some black peppercorn and oak on the nose as well. I don't mind that at all. And I do believe this is 75% corn, 21% rye, and then 4% malted barley. So a pretty traditional MGP bourbon recipe right there. But who knows? I think that's what the mash kind of ends up being after the blend. So I don't know if they were all the whiskeys in the blend were that same recipe, or if that's sort of just where it came out after the blend was done. Because this isn't a single barrel. But let's get in here and let's try it. Cheers. That is remarkably close to just straight up the way a peanut butter cookie would taste. Like there's this soft, creamy peanut butter note on this for sure, but I'm still getting that cookie, savory cookie note as well. Obviously those things together, peanut butter cookie. But there's also a healthy dose of a good spicy oak in here as well, which could be that extra wood contact that they talk about on their website a lot. You know, it's interesting, I was doing some reading and prep for this video, and I found these threads on Reddit that are about 6 years old, where Mattingly made their transition to this current model that they're using, where they're giving you agency. They want you to make your own blends instead of selling blends of their own. And there was a little bit of controversy. There's some spicy threads out there. There were a ton of memes and jokes people were making, were like pictures of bottles with dead bugs in the bottom of it, where people were just not happy. And it sounds like it ended up being really this issue where a group had gone in and they had tasted their barrels and then selected their blend, and they were told, okay, your bottles will be ready at this time for y'all to purchase. And they're like, cool. But one of the people in the group had stayed behind to do his own thing And he had ended up picking a different blend for his own bottle that he wanted to sell directly to people in a different group. And his was ready before the full group's was, and it tasted way different and way sweeter. And then people were like, "Oh, he had to have had like it was an inside job." You know, they were sweetening it up with artificial flavors and stuff like that. And there was just this whole thing. It was some of those threads were not pretty. I'm reading through. I'm like, "Oh, sweet Lord." But as far as I can tell, no controversy in recent years around Mattingly. And it sounds like that was mostly an external thing or like a disagreement among people who went there, not an issue with Mattingly themselves, as far as I can tell. It was also kind of a fun read. Every now and then you're like, yeah, spill the tea. Let's hear it. Yeah, sweet and savory peanut butter on this for sure. I'm not getting a lot of like those rich caramels, but there is a sort of, I wonder if it's the extra wood contact, but I am definitely getting a sort of a leathery note as well, which I kind of like. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I kind of like that. So kudos to the blenders for coming up with this. Peanut butter cookie whiskey right here, basically. You got a lot of those dry, dark, rich notes. You know, your tobaccos and your wood shops. Those kinds of notes. Giving it a lot of nice bassiness. Yeah, I like that. Hey, I've never done it myself, so I can't give you a full-blown recommendation. But maybe, if you're ever interested in coming up with your own bottle, it's I think it's like $120 to go onto their website, create your own blend, make your own bottle. They'll bottle it up, ship it to you, or to somebody you want to give it to as a gift. And if you do that, let me know how it turns out for you. I'd be interested to hear. And thanks again, Matt, for sharing this with me. I appreciate you. Yeah, if I were to give this bottle a score per my scale, I think I'd probably be around the low sevens, like a 7.3. Let's go with 7.3. There's a lot I like about it. I do think if it needs anything at all, a fuzz of like vanilla and a little bit more sweetness to help offset all the dark and the deep and the rich. I do like that creamy peanut butter note, but if I could get a little bit more of those vanillas and caramels in there as well to give me some more traditional bourbon vibes, as well as those leathers and tobaccos, I think that would help offset it just a little bit more. Or even a good brown sugary oak. You know what I mean? Just another sweet note in there to just help give it a little bit more of a top end. But that's being pretty nitpicky because I think this is really good. Yeah, I would never be disappointed to have that pour. Yummy. Oh, hey, reminder for our Patreon members, if you're a Patreon supporter, I think in the $5 tier and above, I have thrown a gauntlet down. And some of you have already sent in your challengers, but we're going to do a series. I think it's going to have to be a series, probably a 2 to 3 video series here, where I'm going to do brackets for your submissions. But I put up a bottle in the Patreon chat in our Discord for the Patreon members. And I said, here's my bottle. And then I challenged people. I said, do you have a bottle on your shelf that you think can beat my bottle in a blind that is of the same category? So I put my old Overholt 10-year cast strength rye whiskey up. And I said, hey, any challengers? Who thinks they can take down my Overholt in a blind? And a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, I got you. So some of the samples have already arrived, but if you want to get involved in that, make sure you weigh in the Patreon Discord as well. But that should be a lot of fun. Big shout out to my Patreon supporters. You guys are the reason we can continue to make all the content that we do, especially the samples you guys send in. I review the whiskeys that I get to put on my shelf, but I also get access to the ones that we collectively as a bourbon club are coming up with, and you send in those samples, and that keeps the channel flowing with content regularly. So I really do appreciate that support. We're also in the planning stages for our next bottle share. So if you want to get involved in that, check out the Patreon group. Link is in the description. Otherwise, just come and hang out with our club, with our guys at a Dramguard group over in Discord. Great folks, great conversations, and helping each other out with our bourbon hunting. So feel free to hop in there. The link to that is totally free. Link's in the description. Come say hi and introduce yourself. And with that, cheers, my friends. May you live richly and get better with age. And I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.